look at my life, I'm a lot like you were. Oh man, look at my life, 24 and there's so much more. Live alone in a paradise that makes me think of two. Love lost such a cost. Give me things that don't get lost, like a coin that won't get tossed.
My obligation to break the cycle.
You.
If I could do anything in life, I would be a good father to my children. And if I could do anything, I would give them their
Oh
right.
man, take a look at my life, I'm a lot like you. I need someone to love me the whole day through. I want to look in my eyes and you can tell that.
Of all the right. Those injustices are real. There's a reason why our families are in disrepair, and some of it has to do with a tragic history. But we can't keep on using that as an excuse. We know the statistics that children who grow up without a father are 5 times more likely to live in poverty and commit crime. They're 9 times more likely to drop out of school, 20 times more likely to end up in prison. They're more likely to have behavioral problems or run away from home or become teen parents because the father wasn't in the home. The foundations of our community and our country are weaker because of this. We need families to raise our children. We need fathers to recognize that responsibility doesn't just end at conception. That doesn't just make you a father. What makes you a man is not the ability to have a child. Any fool can have a child. That doesn't make you a father. It's the courage to raise a child that makes you a father. And listen to all the mothers out there. You need help. You need help. We need to help all those mothers out there who are raising their kids by themselves. The mothers who drop them off at school and go to work and pick them up in the afternoon and work another shift and get dinner and make lunches and pay the bills and fix the house and protect the family and do all the things that a parent is supposed to do. So many women in our community are doing this in a heroic fashion. We're so proud of all those single moms who are out there doing just incredible work, but they need support. They shouldn't have to be doing it all by themselves. They need another parent in the home. Their children need another parent in the home. And I know what it means to have an absent parent. My father wasn't in the house when I was growing up. I have to say my circumstances weren't as tough as they are for many young people today. Because even though my father left us when I was 2 years old, and I only knew him by the letters he wrote and the stories. And I have to admit, I messed up more often than I should have, but I got plenty of second chances. And even though we didn't have a lot of money, I had love and an education, scholarships that gave me the opportunity to go to some of the best schools in the country. See, a lot of children don't get those chances. There's no margin for error in the lives of so many of our children. They've got to have everything going for them. They've got to have mama rooting for them, but they've got to have daddy rooting for them too. I understand my story is different, but I know the toll that being a single parent took on my mother. How she struggled at times to pay the bills. How she was embarrassed sometimes to go to the store with food stamps. She wanted to make sure that we had enough to eat. How she struggled to give us the things that other kids had. Sometimes I'd come back home, children don't always think about things the right way, and I'd complain about how Johnny had this or Jimmy had that. And I can only imagine how that made her feel. She struggled to play all the roles that both parents are supposed to play. She had to be the disciplinarian all the time. That would be the greatest gift I could offer them. And I say this knowing that I've been an imperfect father, knowing that I've made mistakes. I'll continue to make more, wishing that I could be home more for my girls and my wife than I am right now. I say this knowing all of these things because even though we're all going to be imperfect parents, imperfect fathers, even as we all face difficult circumstances at times in our lives, there's still certain lessons we have to strive to live as fathers. Whether we're black or white, whether we're rich or poor, whether we're from the south side or the wealthiest suburbs. The first lesson, I think, that all of us have to embrace is the idea of responsibility. The idea of taking responsibility for your actions and taking responsibility for those that you love. It's great. It's great if you have a job, but you can get a better job. It's a wonderful thing if you got a better job, but maybe you can own a business and create jobs. Too many of our men, they're proud, they brag about doing the things they're supposed to do. They say, well, I'm not in jail. Well, you're not supposed to be in jail. As fathers and as parents, we've got to spend more time with them and help them with their homework and turn off the TV set once in a while, turn off the video game and the remote control and read a book to your child. That's how we build that foundation. We know that they will no longer be competing for jobs against people in Indiana or California. They're going to be competing against young people in China and in India, all over the world. And we know that the work and the studying and the levels of education that that's going to require. Just this past week, I stopped by an 8th grade graduation for a young woman's charter school, wonderful school. And there was all the pomp and all the circumstance, and parents were all bringing flowers. And I thought to myself, well, this is nice that we're celebrating, but you know what? This is just the 8th grade. When I see sometimes these 8th grade graduations, I want to remind people, now hold on a second. Hey, this is just 8th grade. So let's not go over the top. Let's not have a huge party. Let's just give them a handshake and tell them, okay, now you're going to 9th grade, and then 10th grade, then you're going to graduate, then you're going to college, maybe you'll get a PhD, maybe you'll get a law degree, maybe you'll get a medical degree. The third thing we need to do as fathers is pass along the value of empathy to our children. Not sympathy, but empathy. The ability to stand in somebody else's shoes, to look at somebody through their eyes. Sometimes it's so easy to get caught up in us, in me, that we forget about our obligations to other people. That's why we have to teach young people there's nothing weak about being kind. There's nothing weak about being thoughtful. There's nothing weak about being considerate. We got to teach our children that you're not strong by putting other people down. You're strong by lifting other people up. That's our responsibility. How many fathers who've lost their job and can't fill up the gas tank to go on a job search because of the high price of gas? We should be meeting them halfway. We should be making it easier for fathers who make responsible choices and harder for those who start making sure every dime of child support goes directly to helping children instead of bureaucrats. Programs that have helped increase fathers' involvement in their children. Also, the greatest gift that we can pass on to our children, the gift of faith, and the gift if we're willing to work for it, if we're willing to fight for it, if we're willing to believe in it.
Oh man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were. Oh man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were. Oh man, look at my life. 24 and there's so much more. Live alone in a paradise that makes me think of two. Love lost such a cost. Give me things that don't get lost, like a coin that won't get tossed, rolling home to you. Oh man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you. I need someone to love me the whole day through. I want to look in my eyes and you can tell that's true. Lullabies look in your eyes, run around in the same old town. Doesn't mean that much to me, to mean that much to you. I've been first and last, look at how the time goes past. But I'm all alone at last, rolling home to you. Oh man, take a look at my life. I'm a lot like you. I need someone to love me the whole day through. I want to look in my eyes and you can tell that's true. Oh man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you were. Oh man, look at my life. I'm a lot like you